The sky over the Middle East is no longer safe. American bombers are flying over Iranian airspace. Aircraft carriers are moving into attack position. Negotiations over Greenland have collapsed. Ukrainian cities are freezing. Everything is happening at the same time, like an invisible countdown. The Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar hosts 10,000 American troops. It is the nerve center of U.S. operations in the Middle East. Diplomats were instructed to pull back. This is not a large-scale evacuation. The last time this happened, Iranian missiles struck the base. 30,000 American soldiers are positioned in the Gulf. Guided missile destroyers patrol the waters. Refueling aircraft escort bombers. Everything suggests a decision has been made in Washington. The question is no longer if there will be action, but when it will begin. In Iran, the regime is executing protesters through fast-track trials. More than 2,500 deaths in 2 weeks. The internet has been completely shut down. Trials are broadcast on television. The gallows await anyone who opposes the government. With the escalation of the war in Ukraine, the conflict that could happen inside NATO over Greenland, the invasion of Venezuela, brutal wars in Africa, and the attack Iran is expected to suffer in the coming hours, tell me if you believe we are living the final moments before a drastic shift in global control. How do you think everything will turn out? Tell me if you believe Trump is some kind of savior or an antichrist. Just a reminder, this report is based on news from Sky News, The New York Times, BBC, The Guardian, Al Jazeera, Sputnik, RT News, and Telegram. But before we get into the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Your subscription means a lot and helps you stay updated on every story about the raging nations. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up to help this project grow even more. Erfan Soltani is 26 years old. He was arrested for allegedly taking part in protests. His family learned he would be executed. No lawyer, no transparency, only a rushed trial and a death sentence. Trump threatened very strong actions if this happens. Protests in Iran began 2 weeks ago. They started as peaceful demonstrations against repression. They evolved into direct clashes with security forces. The regime responds with public executions. Each death fuels the narrative that the regime is on the brink of collapse. Abbas Araghchi, Iran's foreign minister, sent direct messages to neighboring countries. The message is simple. Any country that allows American attacks will be retaliated against. Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, and Turkey received this warning. These countries host U.S. bases. They are being forced to choose. Iran is not just waiting. It is setting the trap. Air defenses have been repositioned. Ballistic missiles have been moved to secret locations. The regime knows an attack may come. It is preparing to respond with full force. It intends to cause maximum damage. The United States withdrew personnel from Al Udeid because it is preparing for an attack that could trigger retaliation. This shift in posture is identical to the one that preceded attacks in 2025. The pattern is repeating. History is accelerating. B-52 Stratofortress bombers are operating intensely near Iranian airspace. Each can carry up to 70 tons of combat payload. They can fly 8,000 kilometers without refueling. KC-135R Stratnatoker aircraft escort them. These tankers extend the reach of the missions. The USS Roosevelt is a guided missile destroyer operating in the Persian Gulf. This ship is a floating missile battery. It can launch cruise missiles with meter-level precision. It can defend itself against any aerial threat. It is positioned like a predator waiting for the signal. Reports indicate that an aircraft carrier is being moved to the Middle East. An aircraft carrier is a mobile airbase. It can launch dozens of combat aircraft simultaneously. It can sustain continuous operations for weeks. Its presence shifts the balance of power in any region. Operation Southern Spear is the largest American military mobilization in the Caribbean since the invasion of Panama. It is a classic military encirclement applied with modern technology. It is an unprecedented show of force. It is a warning that cannot be ignored. Iran is receiving the message that it is the next regime to fall. Iran is not defenseless. It has intermediate-range ballistic missiles. It has attack drones. It can close the Strait of Hormuz, through which much of the world's oil flows. It has allies across the region. It is making clear it will use all of this if attacked. In Tehran, the streets are full of protesters, but they are also full of soldiers. The regime is on maximum alert. It is arresting activists. It is executing protesters. It is trying to maintain control while the world watches. But the repression is generating more anger. Trump declared that help is on the way for Iranian protesters. No one knows exactly what that means. It could mean financial support, weapons, cyber operations, or bombings. The ambiguity is intentional. It keeps Iran uncertain. Uncertainty paralyzes decision-making. The U.S. State Department ordered all American citizens to leave Iran immediately. This order is a clear signal. When a government orders the evacuation of its citizens, it is preparing for operations that may affect civilians. It means something is about to happen now. While the world watches the Middle East, another crisis is unfolding in the Arctic. Trump wants Greenland. This is not a joke. It is not a negotiation. It is a demand. Denmark is saying no. But when the world's greatest military power wants something, no is only the beginning. Lars Løkke Rasmussen, Denmark's foreign minister, left a meeting at the White House stating that Trump has a clear desire to conquer Greenland. Conquer, not negotiate. Conquer. Vance and Rubio were in the room. Neither denied it. Their silence was confirmation. Greenland is a Danish colony with only 56,000 inhabitants. It has immeasurable natural resources. It holds a strategic position in the Arctic. It has geopolitical importance that no one ignores. Trump wants to control all of this. He wants to control the Arctic. He wants to control the future. Denmark responded by increasing its military presence in Greenland. Ships were deployed, drones were positioned, fighter jets were sent, soldiers were mobilized. It is a symbolic response. Denmark cannot defeat the United States in war, but it can show it is willing to fight. A high-level task force was created to align Arctic security with Washington's interests. Translated, a group was created to find a way to hand Greenland over to the United States. This is diplomacy at knife point. This is negotiation under threat. Reports indicate that Russia could help Trump liberate Greenland, as if it were under occupation, as if it needed to be rescued. But the implication is clear. Trump and Putin could be coordinating actions to reshape the global map. This would raise fears of a third world war. While Iran and Greenland dominate headlines, Ukraine is freezing. Russia attacked energy infrastructure with nearly 300 drones, 18 ballistic missiles, and 7 cruise missiles. Entire cities were left without heating. Families in Kyiv face below freezing temperatures. Cold is a weapon. Zelensky declared a state of emergency in the energy sector. This means rationing. It means not everyone will have heating. It means hospitals and schools will have to choose between power and operation. It means the population must choose between comfort and survival. Zelensky knows this could lead to protests. There is an interesting detail. Russia is also suffering blackouts. Russian cities are also without heating. Russian energy infrastructure has also been damaged. Ukraine is managing to strike deeper into Russian territory, with attacks occurring even near the Kremlin. The United Kingdom is planning an operation to strangle Putin's war machine. The plan is to target Russian ships near submarine cables. These cables carry data and communications. If cut, Russia would be digitally isolated. It would be a devastating blow. But there is something even more frightening. The last nuclear arms control treaty between Russia and the United States expires on February 4th, 2026. That is in just weeks. When it expires, there will be no limit on nuclear warheads. It will be the first time in more than 50 years. New START limited each country to 1,550 strategic nuclear warheads. It limited 800 launchers. When it expires, those limits disappear. Russia and the United States will be able to build as many weapons as they want. They will be able to deploy as many missiles as they want. NATO is on maximum alert. Trump imposed 25% tariffs on countries that trade with Iran. This is an economic weapon. It is a way to force allies to choose. Choose Iran and suffer economically. Choose the United States and prosper. It is pure coercion. Abbas Araghchi stated that Iran is ready for fair negotiations. But he also said it is prepared to defend itself. It is a dual message. It is an attempt to keep the door open to diplomacy while preparing for war. It is what you do when you are surrounded. But the reality is that there is no room for negotiations. Trump wants regime change. Iran wants survival. These goals are incompatible. There is no middle ground. There is no compromise that satisfies both. When two sides want incompatible things, the outcome is conflict. In Washington, military analysts are mapping scenarios. Scenario 1, limited airstrikes. Scenario 2, sustained bombing campaign. Scenario 3, regime change operations with ground troops. Each scenario has different costs, but all lead to the same place: open war between the United States and Iran. The question no one can answer is, what will Iran's response be? If bombed, it will retaliate. It will retaliate against U.S. bases. It will retaliate against American allies. It will retaliate against Israel. It will retaliate against anything it can hit. And when Iran retaliates, it causes real damage. In Greenland, negotiations continue. But negotiations under threat are not real negotiations. They are ultimatums. Trump wants Greenland. Denmark wants to keep Greenland. There is no room for compromise. Either Denmark yields or Trump takes it. There is no third option. Russia is watching all of this with interest. It is watching Trump threaten Denmark. It is watching Trump threaten Iran. It is watching the world fragment. And it is thinking, why can't I do the same? Why can't I take what I want? Putin is looking at all of Ukraine and then at the Baltics. Meanwhile, he watches the population freeze. He sees an economy collapsing. He sees a weakened country. And he is thinking that maybe this is the moment to advance. Maybe it is the moment to take Kyiv. Maybe it is the moment to devastate Ukraine and impose fear on Europe. But there is a problem with that logic. If Putin takes Ukraine, NATO may intervene. If NATO intervenes, that could lead to direct conflict between NATO and Russia. And direct conflict means nuclear war. It means the end of civilization. But leaders in conquest mode do not think about consequences. Here is the pattern that is emerging. Trump is removing the brakes that kept the international system stable. He is saying treaties do not matter. He is saying international law does not matter. He is saying what matters is force. Trump is a winner and hates losers. And when the leader of the greatest power says that, others listen. Arachi is in contact with Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, and Turkey. He is trying to build a coalition. He is trying to create a diplomatic shield. But these countries host use as bases. They depend on American protection. They cannot oppose the United States without suffering devastating economic consequences. But Iran is not completely defenseless. It has non-state allies. It has Hezbollah in Lebanon. It has the Houthis in Yemen. It has militias in Iraq. It has a network of proxies that can cause chaos across the region. If attacked, it can order them to unleash destruction. It can turn the entire region into a war zone. Trump is betting that Iran will not do this. Trump is betting that Iran will back down. Trump is betting that fear will win. And what if Trump is wrong? What if Iran decides retaliation is better than submission? Then everything collapses. In Ukraine, Zelensky faces an impossible situation. He must keep the population warm. He must keep the army operational. He must maintain the will to resist. But infrastructure is being destroyed. Fuel reserves are running out. The population is suffering. If Ukraine falls, NATO loses credibility. If NATO loses credibility, its members question whether it is worth staying in the alliance. If they question it, some may leave. If some leave, NATO weakens. If it weakens, Putin can attack other members. And as I said before, Trump hates losers. He would certainly be the first to leave. Trump is playing a dangerous game. He is pressuring Iran. He is pressuring Denmark. He is pressuring Ukraine. He is pressuring allies. He is pressuring enemies. He is creating pressure everywhere. And when you create pressure everywhere, something has to give. The American military knows this. That is why they withdrew personnel from Al Udeid. That is why they are positioning ships. That is why they are moving bombers. They know something is about to happen. They know they may be ordered to attack. They know that when they attack, Iran will respond. Irfan Soltani may still be alive, but his execution is scheduled. His death is a symbol. It is a symbol that the Iranian regime will not back down. It is a symbol that it is willing to kill its own citizens. It is a symbol that it is in survival mode. But Irfan's execution is also a symbol for the world. It is a symbol that the regime violates human rights. It is a symbol that the regime is illegitimate. It is a symbol that it deserves to be overthrown. And that is exactly the narrative Trump uses, and much of the population agrees. Here is the cycle that is forming. Trump threatens. Iran responds with repression. Repression generates protests. Protests generate executions. Executions justify American intervention. Intervention leads to Iranian retaliation. Retaliation leads to escalation. And escalation leads to war. In Greenland, Danes are having difficult conversations. Conversations about what to do if Trump really tries to take the island. Conversations about whether it is worth resisting. Conversations about whether Denmark can count on NATO. Conversations about whether NATO will defend a member. But there is a precedent. In 2022, Putin invaded Ukraine. NATO did not invade Russia. It provided weapons and aid, but it did not send troops, because direct conflict would mean nuclear war. So it left Ukraine to fight alone. If Trump attacks Greenland, NATO may do the same. Denmark is doing what it can. It is increasing its military presence. It is showing it is willing to fight. It is hoping this will be enough to deter Trump. But deterrence only works if the other side is afraid. And Trump does not seem afraid. In Ukraine, winter is coming. Temperatures will drop even further. The cold will intensify. The population will suffer even more. Russia will continue attacking. It will continue destroying infrastructure. It will continue trying to break Ukraine's will to resist. But negotiating with Putin means accepting defeat. It means accepting the loss of territory. It means accepting that Russia won. And if Russia wins, it will be ready for the next target. It will be ready to attack Moldova. It will be ready to expand its empire. New START expires on February 4th. That is in just a few days. In a few days, the last treaty limiting nuclear weapons disappears. In a few days, Russia and the United States can begin building as many weapons as they want. The nuclear arms race restarts. But there is a problem. If Russia and the United States start building nuclear weapons, China will start too. If China starts, the United Kingdom will start. If the United Kingdom starts, France will start. If France starts, India will start. And in a few years, 10 countries will have thousands of warheads. Military analysts are calculating scenarios. They are trying to understand how this ends. They are trying to find a way out. But they cannot find one. Because every move leads to another. Because every action leads to a reaction. Because the system is in self-destruction mode. But there is something no one is talking about. There is something no one wants to acknowledge. There is something everyone knows but pretends not to know. And that is that we are witnessing the final moments before everything changes. We are seeing the beginning of a new world. Here is what is really happening. Trump is testing the limits of American power. He is seeing how far he can go. He is seeing if he can reshape the world according to his desires. And while Trump tests, Putin watches. Putin learns. Putin thinks about his objectives. Irfan Soltani may still be alive in his cell. He may still be waiting for execution. He may still be waiting for death. But his death will solve nothing. His death will make everything worse. His death will generate more protests. His death could be the trigger needed for the regime to fall. Trump is watching Irfan. He is waiting for the execution. When Irfan is executed, Trump will have the excuse he needs. Trump will say, "I warned you. Now I will take very strong actions." And when he says that, the bombers will take off. The war will begin. In Greenland, Danes are praying that Trump backs down, praying that diplomacy works, praying that NATO intervenes, praying that something changes. But nothing will change because Trump has already decided, because Trump wants Greenland. In Ukraine, Zelensky is doing what he can. He is rationing energy. He is mobilizing troops. He is trying to maintain morale. But he knows he is losing. He knows the cold will win. He knows that at some point, he will have to surrender. Here is the truth no one wants to say. We are at war. It is not a conventional war. It is not a war with formal declarations. But it is a military war. It is an economic war. It is a diplomatic war. It is a war of domination. American troops at Al Udeid are sleeping little. They are waiting for orders. They are waiting to advance. They are waiting to bomb. And when the orders arrive, they will obey. Because that is what soldiers do. Because there is no choice. But there is something the American military knows. They know that when they bomb, Iran will respond. They know that when Iran responds, there will be death. They know that when there is death, escalation will begin. They know that escalation could even lead to a world war. Arakchi is in Tehran. He is coordinating the defense. He is preparing retaliation. He is telling the people that Iran will win. But he knows the truth. He knows Iran cannot win. He knows Iran will suffer. In Greenland, Danish soldiers are positioning themselves. They are building defenses. They are preparing to resist. They know they cannot win. They know the United States is far stronger, but they position themselves anyway. Here is the detail no one can ignore. When all this begins, it will be fast. It will be devastating. It will be impossible to stop. It will be like a train derailing. It will be like dominoes falling. Trump is in Washington. He is making decisions. He is signing orders. He is activating the war machine. He is confident. He is convinced he will win. But he may be wrong. Because when you push too hard, things break. Putin is in Moscow. He is watching. He is learning. He is thinking about his own objectives. He is thinking about Ukraine. He is thinking about rebuilding the empire. And he is seeing that Trump is breaking the rules. Khamenei is in Tehran. He is watching. He is waiting. He is preparing. He knows an attack may come. He knows he may have to respond. He knows that the response could lead to destruction and to his own death. Zelensky is in Kiev. He is coordinating defense. He is trying to maintain morale. He is trying to keep the population warm. He is trying to keep hope alive. But he knows he is losing. Here is the cycle that is completing itself. Trump threatens Iran. Iran executes air fun. Trump bombs. Iran retaliates. Retaliation leads to escalation. Escalation leads to open war. And no one can stop it. But there is a detail that changes everything. There is a detail no one is considering. And that is that people can refuse. People can say no. People can refuse to fight. People can refuse to die. But people will not refuse because they are afraid, because they are trapped, because they have no choice. Because when a government orders, people obey. Because that is how it works. Because that is how it has always worked. Erfan Soltani may be waiting. He may be waiting for execution. He may be waiting for death. He may be waiting for his fate. And his fate will change the fate of the world. Because his death will be the trigger for regime change. As you read this, bombers are being prepared. Missiles are being loaded. Ships are being positioned. Soldiers are being mobilized. Everything is happening now. Everything is happening at this moment. Everything is happening while you breathe. With the escalation of the war in Ukraine, the conflict that could happen inside NATO over Greenland, the invasion of Venezuela, brutal wars in Africa, and the attack Iran is expected to suffer in the coming hours, tell me if you believe we are living the final moments before a drastic shift in global control. How do you think everything will turn out? Tell me if you believe Trump is some kind of savior or an antichrist. Thanks so much for sticking around until the end of the video. You're awesome, and I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any updates on the raging nations. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up to help this project grow even more.